How many cases did you end up beating?
I beat, let me see, 1, 2, 3, I don't know, maybe 4 cases, something like that. I beat a lot of cases with Mr. Giampa. He was the best trial lawyer you can get, and I beat him. And then some things I beat before I even went to trial. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I beat a lot of cases. You know? And while I was locked up with John Gotti, and one time Gotti got locked up for, and this is why I bring this up to you. While I was in the state, while I was facing trial in the state, they brought John Gotti in. He was facing a case too, and they brought him in, and they put us in Rikers Island Hospital. You had 2 sides, and they put him on the same side with me. But then they didn't want us together. They took him and put him on the other side, and he had to fight with the court to get off the other side that he was on. You feel me? And he got from out of there too. But we was on the same side. And then it's funny because I met John in Rikers Island Hospital. Then I met John again. Me and John was on 11 North, right? Me and John Gotti was on 11 North. My cell was right across from his cell. He was in the cell with another guy, good, solid Italian dude. I love him too. Mike DeSantis, good, solid individual, man. He was a class act, man. I like the way he carried himself. We cared about each other, man. We spoke, you know what I mean? So I spoke to John on several occasions. We would keep the floor at peace. All of us would keep the floor at peace. It was beautiful, man. It was a beautiful floor, 11 North, man, when we was there. Yeah.
In the John Gotti movie, I don't know if you've seen the movie, but there's a time where, I guess some dudes steal from the black dudes, and he goes and kind of squashes everything and makes everybody cool again. You know what I'm saying? And pays them back.
A black dude stole from the Italian dude, or Italian dude stole from the black dude?
An Italian dude stole from the black dude, and so John Gotti replaced everything that the Italian dude or white dude stole, and kind of, squashed everything and made sure there was no beef or anything.
They said that happened while he was in jail?
Yeah, but I think it happened on a prior.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. I can't confirm or if that happened or not. I can tell you this: the first day we got locked up the first day me and my co-defendants got locked up to go to MCC New York or to go to court. The very first day, John and his co-defendant was there, right? And we got in the same van at that time because it was late, and I think they was on trial, whatever. We got in the same van, and John asked us, "Hey, what judge y'all got?" I said, "Raymond J. Deary." He said, "Hey, man, that's a good judge. I give my right arm for that judge. He handled the Windows case with my brother, man. You got a fair judge." That's what he told us the very first day we met him. And then they put us in the hole, but then later on they let us out. And I ended up going to 11 North, like I just said, with him. And, I've had the privilege of being around a lot of the old Italian dudes. Vicar Musso, he was there at one point. All the ones that they locked up, all the head ones, I've had the privilege of being around all of them here and there. And it was a friend of mine's named Mike Mellon. He was also there. He was my cellie. Mike DeSantis was John Gotti's cellie, and me and Mike Mellon was cellies and whatnot. He was Nicky Bond's nephew, and we were cellies and stuff. We kept peace on that floor. That's what we did. We made sure that floor was peaceful. And I remember when Sammy the Bull flipped, and when Sammy the Bull flipped, the police called me to the door. The CO called me to the door. He said, "Hey, man, go tell whatchamacallit that Sammy the Bull, they just took Sammy the Bull out of here. He's flipping." I said, "You sure, man?" He told me, it's a black police. He told me, I said, "Oh, okay." So first I tell Mike Mellon, "Hey, man, the dude told me to tell John, man, I'm gonna let him know. He probably gonna be offended by it, man. He said, "Man, tell him." I went and told John, "Yo, Sammy the Bull They just took him out the building, man. They said he flipping, man. I told John. John said, where you get this information from? I said, man, the CO. CO told me, man. You know what I'm saying? He's reliable? I said, he's reliable, man. He ain't got no reason to lie. And John found out the next day that he was reliable because it was true. Sammy the Bull had flipped. And then he seen me a couple of days. He came to me and like, yo, man, thank you, man, and whatnot, you know. But he looked at his face, man. He looked at, damn, could it really be true or not? I don't think he believed me at first, you know what I'm saying? But then he ended up coming back and thanking me for telling him that, so, you know, yeah.
Damn, that's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I seen the movies, and it seemed like everybody was pretty upset when Sammy flipped.
Yeah, that was a hard pill right there.
Well, you get sentenced to these 7 life sentences, and you do 34 and a half years, 34 years and 6 months. What happened that allowed you to come home after being sentenced to this long amount of time?
Well, as you know, I don't know if you know or not, but you probably do. They had something called the Fair Sentencing Act of 2010. You know what that act? You know what that is?
I didn't hear about that. I heard about the other act that they
yeah, you're talking about the First Step Act. I'm gonna talk about the first thing that came out was the Fair Sentencing Act of 2010. Congress came up and said that the 100-to-1 statute was not proper. It imposes time on people based on race, and they felt that the quality of 100-to-1 crack and cocaine is the same thing. And they lowered it down. They didn't even it out, but they lowered it down. But it wasn't retroactive. Congress passed the law. Obama signed it, but it wasn't retroactive for people like me who've been incarcerated for so long. It only dealt with people coming in, not people who have already been in. Well, and that was in 2010. In 2018, Congress passed another law saying they made making the 2010 Act retroactive for people like me so that we can go before a court, file papers so we can get a chance for the judge to decide whether we should get the new statutory application of the drug quantities. President Trump signed it. So you got one law that President Obama signed for people that coming in to change the crack law, 100-to-1 to change it. Then President Trump made it retroactive. So now I can put in a motion to the judge. So I put my motion into the judge. Now during the time frame, I've been in there rehabilitating myself, doing programs, teaching programs, keeping people out of trouble, stopping violence, all kind of stuff. I've been helping people. And so, for instance, I went to they put me in a program where I wasn't supposed to be in Big Sandy, but they let me go in there as a tutor to teach people about how to re-enter home and re-enter society and be law-abiding citizens. And so I took all that stuff and gave it to my judge and quoted that law, hired a good lawyer, excellent lawyer, private lawyer, and they took my motion before the judge, and the judge said, you know what, I'm gonna give this guy a second chance because I believe this guy is, right now while he's incarcerated, I think he can be a productive, law-abiding citizen based on what I see him doing in prison now. I'm gonna let him go. And he granted my motion. And I walked out of prison on September 20th, 2024. 6 life sentences, 20 years, down to time served. He felt that I had did enough in prison to change my life around, that I would not be a problem should I return back to society. And that's a good thing, you know.
What's up? This is Cam Capone. We got more content like this coming soon, so hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Cam Capone News.